The revolutionary power of self love, breaking the chains of Black female achievement. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Carlhie Bayete Thompson, a visionary whose work in self discovery and self love has transformed countless lives, particularly among Black women professionals navigating demanding careers while seeking fulfillment. Carlhie is more than just a thought leader. She is a healer of wounded spirits, a cartographer mapping new territories of Black female empowerment, and a revolutionary challenging systems that have demanded our exhaustion for generations. Her work doesn't just change lives, it saves them, creating ripples of liberation that extend far beyond the individual she directly touches. What struck me most about my conversation with Carlhie was her unwavering commitment to helping Black women reclaim their right to softness in a world that often demands their hardness. Her philosophy represents a powerful counterpoint to the prevailing wisdom that has dominated our professional landscapes for generations. We've been told repeatedly and systematically that success requires sacrifice, that achievement demands we abandon parts of ourselves, that to climb the ladder, we must shed our vulnerability, our need for rest, our desire for balance. This narrative has been particularly burdensome for Black women who face the compounded pressures of both racism and sexism in their professional journeys. But what if this fundamental assumption is wrong? What if the path to true success and fulfillment isn't through relentless hustle and self denial, but through radical self acceptance and intentional self love? This is the revolutionary idea at the heart of Carlhie Bayete Thompson's work. And it's a perspective that challenges everything we think we know about achievement, worth, and what it means to live a successful life. The dominant narrative tells us that our value is determined by our productivity, that our worth is measured by our output, that we must constantly prove ourselves deserving of the space we occupy. For Black women, especially, this burden of proof feels never ending. The pressure to be twice as good to get half as far, the exhaustion of code switching, the emotional labor of navigating microaggressions while maintaining professionalism. I see the nodding heads in this room. You know this reality intimately, don't you? The expectation to be the strong one, the dependable one, the one who makes it happen no matter the personal cost. The way your strength is simultaneously demanded and then weaponized against you, labeled as aggressive or difficult when it doesn't conform to others' comfort. Carlie's work offers a profound alternative. What if, instead of measuring our worth by external metrics of success, we began with the radical premise that we are inherently worthy? What if self love wasn't something to be earned through achievement, but was instead the foundation from which all meaningful achievement springs? This isn't just a feel good philosophy, it represents a fundamental shift in how we approach our lives, our work, and our relationship with ourselves. And the evidence suggests it might actually be the more effective approach to creating lives of genuine fulfillment and sustainable success. When I asked Carlhie about the moment she realized the traditional path to success wasn't serving her, she shared a profound insight. The breaking point, she told me, comes when you realize you've achieved everything you were told would make you happy, and yet happiness remains elusive. That's when you understand that the formula itself is flawed. This realization echoes across generations of high achieving professionals who find themselves wondering why the promised satisfaction of success feels so hollow. The answer, according to Carlhie, lies in our fundamental misunderstanding of what success actually is. Success isn't a destination, she explained. It's not a title or a salary or a set of accomplishments. True success is alignment. When your outer life reflects your inner values, when your daily actions honor your authentic self, when you no longer feel the need to compartmentalize parts of your identity to fit into spaces not designed for you. This perspective challenges the very foundation of how we've been taught to think about achievement, and it offers a particularly powerful alternative for Black women who have historically been asked to fragment themselves to navigate predominantly white professional spaces. Carlie's framework for self discovery and self love centers around three core principles that directly challenge conventional wisdom about success and fulfillment. First, she advocates for what she calls radical self acceptance. This isn't about complacency or settling, it's about acknowledging that worthiness isn't something to be earned, it's your birthright. For Black women who have been systematically told in both subtle and overt ways that they must constantly prove their value, this principle is revolutionary. When you begin from a place of inherent worthiness, Carlie told me, you approach challenges differently. You're no longer trying to prove yourself deserving of opportunity. You're evaluating whether the opportunity deserves you. This shift in perspective transforms the power dynamic in professional settings. It allows Black women to bring their full, authentic selves to their work rather than shrinking to fit into spaces not designed with them in mind. The second principle in Carlie's framework is what she calls intentional boundary setting. This directly challenges the culture of overwork and constant availability that dominates many professional environments. Boundaries aren't selfish, she emphasized during our conversation. They're sacred. They protect your energy, your creativity, your joy, and they communicate to others how you expect to be treated. For Black women who have often been socialized to prioritize others' needs above their own, to be the strong one, the dependable one, the one who makes it happen, no matter the personal cost. This principle offers liberation from exhausting patterns of overextension. The third principle in Carlhie's framework is perhaps the most countercultural: pleasure as resistance. In a world that often associates virtue with struggle and sacrifice, particularly for Black women, Carlie advocates for the revolutionary act of prioritizing joy. Joy isn't frivolous, she told me, for Black women especially. Claiming our right to pleasure, to rest, to delight is a radical act. In a world that has historically denied us these things, making space for joy isn't self indulgent, it's self preserving. This principle challenges the glorification of hustle culture and the normalization of burnout. It suggests that sustainable success requires not just strategic planning and hard work, but also intentional rest and genuine pleasure. Together, these three principles, radical self acceptance, intentional boundary setting, and pleasure's resistance, form the foundation of what Carlie calls the soft revolution. It's an approach to life and work that honors the full humanity of Black women in a world that has often reduced them to their productivity or resilience. But this framework isn't just theoretical. Carlie's work is grounded in practical application. When I asked her about concrete strategies for implementing these principles, she offered insights that anyone can begin applying immediately. For radical self acceptance, she suggests a daily practice of affirmation, not generic platitudes, she clarified, but specific acknowledgments of your inherent worth that directly counter the limiting beliefs you've internalized. One affirmation she recommends is, I am not the sum of my accomplishments. I am worthy of love, respect, and opportunity simply because I exist. My Blackness, my womanhood, my full humanity are not burdens to overcome, but gifts to be celebrated. For intentional boundary setting, Carly advocates for what she calls the power of the pause. Before automatically saying yes to requests or opportunities, she suggests taking a moment to check in with yourself. Ask yourself, does this align with my values? Will this deplete or energize me? Am I saying yes out of obligation or authentic desire? That pause creates space for discernment. And for pleasure as resistance, she recommends creating a joy inventory, a list of things that bring you genuine delight from the mundane to the magnificent. Then she says, schedule these things with the same commitment you would a work meeting or deadline. Joy deserves space on your calendar. What makes Carly's approach so powerful is that it doesn't just feel good, it works. The evidence suggests that people who operate from a foundation of self acceptance and who maintain healthy boundaries actually achieve more sustainable success than those who sacrifice their well being on the altar of achievement. Research consistently shows that burnout doesn't enhance productivity, it diminishes it. That rest isn't the opposite of productivity, it's a prerequisite for it. That joy isn't a distraction from purpose, it's fuel for it. This is particularly true for Black women who face unique stressors in professional environments. The constant vigilance required to navigate spaces not designed with them in mind exacts a toll that can only be sustained through intentional self care and community support. Carly's work offers a roadmap for creating this sustainability. It challenges the false dichotomy between success and well being, suggesting instead that true success must include well being or it isn't success at all. The most revolutionary thing you can do, Carly told me, is to refuse to participate in your own exploitation. To say, I will achieve, but not at the cost of my joy, my health, my connection to myself, and my community. This perspective doesn't diminish ambition, it humanizes it. It doesn't reject achievement, it redefines it. It doesn't abandon goals. It ensures that those goals include your well being as non negotiable. As our interview concluded, I asked Carly what message she most wanted to share with Black women navigating demanding careers while seeking fulfillment. Her response was both a challenge and an invitation. Remember that you are not just what you produce. Your value doesn't diminish when you rest. Your worth isn't determined by your output. You deserve spaces that honor your full humanity. And if those spaces don't exist, you have every right to create them. She continued, the soft revolution isn't about abandoning ambition. It's about ensuring that your ambition serves you rather than you serving it. It's about recognizing that your softness, your vulnerability, your need for rest, your desire for joy isn't weakness, it's wisdom. This message resonates far beyond Black women, though they remain at the center of Carly's work. It speaks to anyone who has felt the pressure to sacrifice their well being for achievement, to compartmentalize their identity for acceptance, to diminish their needs for others' comfort. I stand before you today, not just as a messenger of Carly's wisdom, but as someone profoundly transformed by it. I challenge you here, now, in this moment, to examine the stories you've been told about success, achievement, and worth. I challenge you to question whether the systems that demand your exhaustion are truly serving your highest good. What would your life look like if you operated from a foundation of inherent worthiness rather than constantly striving to prove your value? How would your relationship with achievement transform if you included your well being as non negotiable? What becomes possible when you embrace the revolutionary power of self love? These aren't rhetorical questions, they are invitations to a new way of being. They are the first steps toward your own soft revolution. I call on you today to make one commitment to yourself before you leave this room, one act of radical self acceptance, one boundary you will honor, one form of pleasure you will prioritize not as a reward for productivity, but as an essential ingredient in your life. The world will not easily make space for your softness. You will have to claim it. You will have to protect it. You will have to insist upon it. But in doing so, you aren't just transforming your own life, you're creating pathways for others to do the same. The revolutionary power of self love isn't just personal, it's political. It challenges systems designed to extract maximum productivity at the cost of our humanity. It reimagines success as something that honors the whole person, not just their output. This is the legacy of Carlhie Bayete Thompson's work. This is the invitation before you today. This is the revolution that begins within. Thank you